These are the stories. These are the stories that most of the people that are here that went through that conflict have. Not just their own stories, but the stories of those that served with them, alongside of them, their brothers in arms. And to the families of those people that come back, the stories they have, the stories of being constantly worried. This is something that across all conflicts we all share.
Thank you all for coming. Every Memorial Day, our newspapers we're going to talk about our heroes today. And to me, everybody that carries a rifle or drives a truck or steers a ship are really heroes. But among those who carry a rifle on the front lines, like my friend Joe, there are a few who are more than just ordinary heroes. And I'll tell you about one. Bob Duncan was a PFC in Howe Company, the 7th Marines. He had joined the Marine Corps 6 months before, was assigned to Camp Lejeune in the 6th Marines, but his battalion was sent to the Mediterranean, and then MacArthur says, I want a Marine division. And so they put him aboard the transport through the Suez Canal to Korea. And it became the 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. Joe and I both served in that battalion. On the 30th of November, it was 20 below zero. It had been 20 below zero for 4 or 5 days, and pretty cold even for some days before that. And Bob Duncan's company had been told to take a hill halfway back towards Hagaroo-Ree, where there was going to be an airfield. So they moved out and started attacking the hill. And about 10 in the morning, Bob Cameron, who was a machine gunner, said, I'm running out of ammunition. I only got 1 can left. Somebody's got to go get some more. So Duncan told his squad leader, I'm the fastest man in this platoon. I'll go get ammunition. So running as low as he could, because the Chinese had about 6 machine guns shooting at him, he worked his way down the hill until he got to where the hill became more steep, and then the machine gun bullets are all going way over his head. So then he ran down. He got to the pile of ammunition. His ex-company commander was there with a big bandage on his leg. And he said, what are you doing down here, Duncan? Duncan says, I'm getting ammunition. He said, it's right there. So Duncan went over to the ammunition pile and he tried to pick up 2 cans of ammunition. They weigh 20 pounds apiece. But he had heavy gloves on. So to be sure he could get what he wanted, he took his gloves off and put them in his pocket and picked up 2 cans in each hand. Those cans were made out of sheet metal, and so his hands got cold pretty fast. But he worked his way back up the hill, and he finally got to the machine gun, crawling in the snow, tried to hand him 2 cans, and he couldn't let go. His hands were too stiff. So the other guys in the squad came over, pried his hands off the cans, gave them to Cameron, machine gunner, and put Duncan's hands inside his clothes so they'd warm up. And they must have hurt like hell, because if you remember when you were kids and you got too cold and then went back in the house and got warm, and you would ache like crazy. Well, he had been very, very cold. But after a while, he said to the sergeant, the squad leader, I'm going to go get some more ammunition. He got up, threw off his sleeping bag, and headed back down the hill. He came back with 4 more cans of ammunition. The hands were too stiff to let go. They pried him off the cans again, and they had now enough to last all day. About midday, Lieutenant Colonel Davis came along with his battalion and committed one of the companies to help Howe Company, and they took the hill. About dusk, the last Chinese were chased off. Then the company found out why they were there. Davis was going to take his battalion through the Chinese lines behind them and go rescue Fox Company, which was holding the pass and had been badly battered for 3 days. Same company that Joe Genduso later joined. Davis was short of troops because in taking and helping take the hill, he lost a few men. So he contacted his regimental commander and they said, take our company with you. So those men that had fought all day now walked all night, and they did get to Fox Company and relieve Fox. And by that time, they had only one officer left. He was a second lieutenant. He became company commander and became very well beloved by the men in that company because he marched them all the way to the sea, put 28 of them on board ship for the Navy to evacuate. Duncan was one of those 28. Duncan lived to be about 83 or 4 and was buried in the National Cemetery. 4 of us who had known him went down there. I knew him only in reunions, but 2 of the men that served with him were there, and he was married with full honors in the National Cemetery. There's a lot of heroes who are in the front, but one of the ones that I think of frequently is Paul Mullaney, who was mayor of Worcester, a judge, and in the opinion of his company commander, the best platoon leader the Marine Corps ever had. Wounded 3 times before they sent him home. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you all, city manager, mayor, councilor, all present. There's not too much I can say that has already been said. However, I do like to make a couple of comments very briefly. As you look upon our monument, the brick, the pavers, the benches, in 1985, a great guy drew the concept of the same thing, which is quite similar. A friend of mine, a veteran, Harvey, Mr. Smiley Ball, a great guy. Also, in 1985, it was my idea to get permission by the city of Worcester to have erected this monument, which they approved. There's quite a history behind this. Now, getting back to Korea, 1950, June 25th. Why were we in Korea? They told us we're there because we have to stop the spread of communism and also the aggression of the North Koreans into South Korea. Very feasible. However, as you already heard, they tabbed the Korean War a police action. And later on, they increased it, a conflict. And finally, the truth came out, it was a Korean War. I was sent to Korea May 1951 to June 1952. I was a Marine, a proud squad leader, and I came back. I didn't pay attention too much to what was going on in the Korean War or wars after that for many years. However, there was one terminology which you already heard that I could not accept and I will never accept. They called it the Forgotten War. They may have a reason for calling it the Forgotten War, but to me, I can't accept that. It's been almost 70 years since I left Korea, and every day of my life, in my mind, I revisit Korea. Thank you very much.